everyone, welcome to Madeline Makes. My name is Madeline, and lately I have been craving brownies. But alas, I am gluten-free, which just makes some day-to-day comforts a little bit more difficult to find. And as a baker myself, I decided I wanted to try to make some gluten-free brownies. So I thought to myself, maybe I can just go to the store and buy brownie mix. But I'm a baker, I want to be able to make it myself. So I compared a bunch of recipes and I found one that swore that they were the best, fudgiest almond flour brownies. So I said, prove it, and here I am making them today. But I still wanted to see how homemade could compare to store-bought. So I popped over to Aldi, one of our favorite stores, and picked up this gluten-free brownie mix. It just says it's rich, delicious, and moist. All right, so it doesn't say fudgy. Now, brownies, I feel like, are one of those things where everyone has a particular thing about a brownie that they like. Some people like the edge pieces, some people like the middle, some people want a lighter, fluffier brownie, some people want a dense, chocolatey brownie. I fall into the category of middle brownie, dense and chocolatey. That's what I want. So I picked this one up, and I thought, let's compare the two. The homemade brownie recipe that I found, although it was touting that it was fudgy and that sort of thing, it still had this air of being a healthier option to a conventional brownie. But for me, I do this for health reasons, so I don't necessarily want something healthy. I want something that is going to scratch that itch in my brain that just really needs chocolate and sugar. So it uses things like coconut sugar and coconut oil for the sugar and the fat in the recipe. So I thought I'd give it a try. I happen to have coconut sugar. It's an ingredient that I actually like to use in savory cooking. Sometimes savory recipes call for a bit of sugar, and I like to use coconut sugar in those recipes. I could have swapped these out for richer ingredients. I could have probably used brown sugar or regular refined white sugar, and I probably could have used butter or really any oil that I wanted and fat that I wanted. But I wanted to be original to the recipe because I didn't want to mess with it. All right, so I have my two brownies here. This is my homemade almond flour brownies, and these are the store-bought boxed brownies. At a quick glance, they're two very different colors. This one, the almond flour one, is much lighter in color, almost looks more like a natural chocolatey color. And the store-bought ones are much darker. I looked to see if they were dark chocolate brownies, but it doesn't say. It just says it's made with cocoa powder. I'm not sure what explains the darker color. Also, the store-bought ones are much fluffier. The homemade ones are denser. They're not dense, so to speak, but they're a lot denser, so I'm thinking this one just has more of a raising agent in it. The homemade ones used 3 tablespoons of coconut oil, whereas the store-bought ones used an entire stick of butter. An entire stick. I have a feeling that these store-bought ones are gonna be richer and probably a lot sweeter. It didn't say exactly how much sugar. Okay, shut up, just eat. I'm gonna start with the brownie that was right in the middle because I wanna give it as much fudgy advantage as it gets. Oh yeah, super chocolatey, really quite fudgy. I do get a hint of coconut. I wouldn't call the coconut a forward flavor, but definitely the aftertaste has a bit of a coconut undertone. I don't like coconut as is, like I don't like shaved coconut. I don't like to eat coconut. If it was too prominent, I probably wouldn't like it, but that's a good brownie. I would never have guessed that this was almond flour. It has a short texture, so it's not very cakey or fluffy, but I don't mind. I like a dense fudgy brownie. So this is really delicious. I instantly want to crumble this up and eat it with ice cream. Okay, next one. So yeah, these are a lot fluffier, bigger. Wow. Way fluffier. Yeah, it's still fudgy. This one's definitely, the homemade ones are definitely fudgier. This is more cake-like to me. Not bad. In terms of which one is better, I think I like the homemade ones better, but I think the homemade ones are more chocolatey than they are sugary, whereas the store-bought ones are sweet. Just off the bat, they're sweet. Like I just had those 2 bites of that one and I could probably walk away and not eat one. Whereas I could probably keep going back to these almond flour ones. They're both delicious. I just think it really is gonna come down to what you prefer in a brownie. The store-bought ones are really quite sweet, really desserty, really cakey, and the homemade ones are a little less forward with just sweetness, more of a chocolate, more of a fudge. And I think the fact that I'm using almond flour, that like slight nuttiness works really, really well with the brownie and the chocolate. Oh, so fudgy. I like fudgy. I like almost under-baked brownie. The homemade one is just so fudgy, and the store-bought ones are just more like cake. When I think of a brownie, this is the texture I'm thinking of. Both are really great options. I think it's really just gonna come down to your particular accessibility to ingredients and also your preferences. If you're a gluten-free person and you're just looking for a quick, delicious brownie, store-bought's fine. But I gotta say, I really am impressed by this homemade one, and I'm going to definitely put this over some ice cream this evening. But if you like this video, please give it a like. If you wanna see more like it, then please subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.